When people say money is not everything, like it goes without saying, of course money is not everything, but the reality is everyone wants money or needs money to do the things that they actually want to accomplish in life. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Need to Succeed podcast, where we have incredible conversations with phenomenal entrepreneurs just to understand what is their need to succeed. Because here's the thing, two people can go through the exact same situation. One person decides because of that situation, they can no longer achieve the things that they've always wanted to achieve. And the other person decides because of the exact same situation, they absolutely have to achieve everything they've ever dreamt of. Same scenario, different outcomes. What is the mindset of the successful individual? That is exactly what we look to uncover on this podcast. And today we have an absolutely incredible guest. Is one of my personal mentees who has had incredible results over the past year, building a very, very substantial property portfolio in the service accommodation space. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Moshi Katz. How you doing, bro?
All good.
All good,
Good
yeah?
to see you again. Last time we met in person was in Southend-on-Sea.
That was in Southend-on-Sea. Hey, listen.
Still in the upcoming.
Still in the pipeline, right?
Still in the pipeline.
In case you guys don't know what we're talking about, Southend-on-Sea. This guy, I don't really want to take it away from you because you might even talk about that. But actually, let's leave that to you. We're gonna come to that and what that was all about. But bro, what's happened, in the past, 12 months or so, it's really been incredible for you, right? But before we get into all of that, we've got a tradition on the podcast. There's only two set questions. Everything else is just going to be free flow, all right? So there's the first question and then the final question of the podcast. Those are the two set ones. So I'll start with the first one, which is, what does success actually mean to you?
Actually, good question, but I wouldn't yet call myself a successful person because we're still in the beginning, still a big journey ahead. Might still fail in some stuff, but giving myself a year ago, I didn't even know what success is because probably I would be more a failure than a success because I didn't have any success in life. But in the last 12 months, I did have some success in life, hopefully to get more successes and being able to be a successful person. But again, success in life is for sure having the time for myself and for my family and for friends and to help other people and to be able to trade, not to trade my time for someone else, but to trade my time for myself and in the meantime make money as well. And again, there's a saying like money is not everything, but everything is money. But it is true, money is not everything, but with money you can buy time, you can buy and you just can have a easy life and sometimes hard life, but hard in a good way.
Yeah. I understand what you say. When people say money is not everything, like it goes without saying, of course money is not everything, but the reality is everyone wants money or needs money to do the things that they actually want to accomplish in life. Unfortunately, we did not create the system, but the system is driven by money. So if you want a good quality of life for yourself, for your family, if you want your kids to be able to go, to the best school, if you want them to be able to eat the best meals, if you want them to be able to go on the best holidays and to have the best quality of life, then you're going to need money.
That's correct, yeah. Again, you can have money and not have wherever it is, if it's health issues, if it's relationship issues, but when you do have money, you can make yourself good in relationships, good in health if there is a health issue. Sometimes if you don't have money, you can't treat yourself the health issues, but if you do have money, you can't treat yourself. Again, not always money is everything, but money is a good thing. And yeah, as you said, everything, we didn't create the world and the world got created around money. Yeah. The money has a say, the money has,
So I always like to understand, because I was speaking to you actually yesterday during our coaching call that we normally have on Sunday evenings, and I was saying there's such a similarity between how I got started on my entrepreneurial journey and how you actually got started as well. But just kind of peeling it back, let's just go more to the origin. What were you like as a kid? If I went back and said, if I met like the 9-year-old or the 5-year-old, Moshi, what was life like for you back then? What were you like?
To be honest, in my dreams, I always thought and dreamt, yes, I want to be a business owner. Never dreamt of working in whatever, by a shop till or something. was never thinking about that. But again, I was always had this kind of fear: will I actually be a businessman? Will I actually be a business owner? My parents didn't have, weren't poor, but weren't any rich. My father had businesses before, but also failed in some stuff. Also, there was industry that went well in the diamonds. In the diamonds time, it went well, but then it didn't go so well. So my father did actually work for people. So I actually thought, like, will I actually be a business owner, or won't I be a business owner? But again, my dream was always to be a business owner and pursue my dreams.
Where did that come from, though? So if you were growing up, were you born at a time when your dad was an entrepreneur and had failed businesses, or were you born when he was an employee? And if so, why did you say, I don't want to be doing this, I want to have my own business? Like, what was the scenario?
No, I was born actually after, when my father, I was always growing up, my father, again, a hardworking guy, but not in the entrepreneurial route, more in the employment route. But before, he had businesses going well, failed, a lot of industries. Again, I was born when my father was already, I think, 45, 46, so he had already like a 25 year of life career going before him. He was in the diamond industry. He was in the online industry before Amazon and eBay. He was like selling on. Online was then before. It would have today been Amazon and eBay, but then it was like advertising on TV. Like there was like a TV channel, and then like it was like an ad, and then with a phone number, people used to call. So every after ad, they used to call then online, kind of online, but basically on TV, people used to call for the ad and buying stuff. This was going good for a while, but then it didn't work out well. But again, when I was born, he was hardworking, and so the hard work I would take from him, but again, not in the. I would, and I saw how he dealt with his employers and things, not always, also not really appreciating the work. So probably this is what I always thought. I don't want to work with. I want to work hard, but for myself, not for someone else.
Okay, so you just kind of seen the way your dad was maybe treated by employers, and maybe arguments or whatever. You kind of felt this isn't really something that I want to do when I actually get older.
Probably. I can't recall it if it was actually that, but yeah. I think it should have been this, because again, I wasn't brought up from when I was born. My father wasn't a business owner, so I'm thinking, where did my dream come from becoming a business owner? Probably because of that, because I didn't want to deal with employers and needed to have a report every day for my employee, what I did today, what I didn't do today, why I didn't do it today.
Yeah, and that you saying that makes a lot of sense to me, because how old are you?
I'm currently just turned 24.
Just turned 24, yeah? So last year you would have been 23. And there's just this, when we first got introduced, when we first met, there's just this drive inside of you, just pushing. And you'd made not a crazy decision, but the way that a lot of people would perceive it would have been a crazy decision, at that sort of age. But can you just kind of, first of all, obviously you've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm guessing, you went to college, and the rest of it, and then you came out. What happened? Did you decide to start a business, or did you decide to go and work for someone? Like, how did that work out?
So it's actually interesting, because probably you never had a guest on this podcast that, again, people didn't go to college, people did go to college, but I did. I was a good kid, but again, in the Jewish religion, we don't go to college. We don't go to secular college and study regular things that we could study Talmud. So it's different. Like, we went to a different school, a Jewish school, a religious school. Then we went, it's kind of college, but it's not, it's on Talmud. So it's on the Jewish books and Jewish religion. Now, there's a lot of probably comments going around, if it's the news or anywhere going around, that Orthodox Jewish religious people, they don't study anything. They just don't do anything. They just study the Talmud, and it's nothing. It's not worth anything. And then they don't come out successful in anything. Again, my belief is, and what I had all my life, again, we did study math. We did study, again, I was brought up in Belgium, so I didn't really study English. And I don't think my English is that bad. I studied Dutch and this kind of things, but we didn't study intense things, what the secular world is used to. But we studied Talmud and this kind of things. But again, in Talmud, there's a lot of, it's not just stories and stuff. It's a lot of you need to use your brain to study these things, and when you use your brain, then your brain just gets sharpened out, and you just get You just get clever. If I would teach you 1 + 1 is 2, I don't need to teach you 5 + 5 is 10, because your brain will automatically sharpen out and know that 5 + 5 is 10 as well. This is why growing up in not going to college, not going these places, but again, being a good kid, doing what my teachers told me to do and everything, using my brain. So again, I would call myself college. I went to college, but not to the regular college. I didn't study finance. But again, in the Talmud, there's finance chapters, things going through finance and everything. So
understood.
This is where we sharpen our brains.
Not in the traditional way of what we would call college,
Correct.
but you went to like a specific type of higher education for Jewish people.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you should say that, because you said, people think, Orthodox Jews, they haven't, been to college, so maybe they're not the smartest, they're not going to have any success in life. But that's interesting to hear, a Jewish person say that, because actually outside the Jewish community, I don't know, but the perception of Jewish people is actually like, oh yeah, they're smart and, they make a lot of money and that sort of thing, right? So like, have you heard that narrative, or how do you juxtapose that? Yeah.
So probably as an entrepreneur yourself and business people, they actually know that Jewish people do have a mind for business and do make money. And it's nothing to do with their degree and their college, because most Jewish people, I can't say most, but of course in the Orthodox community, most of them don't have any college degrees, barely knows English and this kind of things, and a signature doesn't need to be English, and they sign contracts for millions. So, but again, it's more outside probably the people that don't deal in business with Jewish people, the people that they themselves are not successful. They think, and it's true, the Jewish people don't study finance, don't study so intense English, don't study so intense math and all kinds of things. And then when we have the government coming to the school and implementing, you need to learn this, and the Jewish schools are against it. No, we don't want to learn this. We don't learn about different genders and all those kind of things. That's not the way what's going to get us ahead in life. So then it comes out in the news, hey, the Jewish people are not.
Hey, Moshi, don't get me. What's the word cancelled? Don't get me cancelled, bro. No, I'm joking. Go ahead. Yeah, but do you think that's more of like because sometimes as a community you might have a perception of what other people are thinking, but that might not be the case. But it could be from an experience of government, so government trying to impose things. But I don't know if that's reflective of what the wider community actually think of Jewish people, because I think, the wider community, I've never heard someone think Jewish people are not smart. And it's the opposite, right? So, but obviously, when, you get the government coming and trying to impose things that are against your religion, maybe that can give a perception that, oh, this is what, everyone else thinks of us, so this is what everyone else wants us to do. But no one really likes the government meddling their shit, man. This is just, you know what I'm saying? We want less government meddling, right? Because what you just spoken about there as well, the transgender stuff and all of that, bro, I'm very, very protective of my family when it comes to that. My daughter and my future children, they're only going to be going to a specific type of school that I know exactly what they're going to be teaching. And if they're teaching any of these things on the curriculum, my kid ain't going there, right? So this is not even like a Jewish thing. This is a thing of like, well, if you follow any religion, because no religions actually support this, right? Even if you're a Christian. Now, I know like the Jewish religion, for example, and also the Muslim religion, they're more like, we are not. They're very more militant about it. The Christians are a bit more, kind of flexible about, we like, but the Jewish and Muslims are like, no, we don't want this, right? So maybe that's why you have that impression, because even though you don't want it, people are still trying to impose it. But I think that's just a government thing.
It could be, but again, it does come out in the news that there are people, and to be honest, there are also people that come from the Orthodox community and they exited the Orthodox community, and they're trying to talk, hey, we didn't learn this, if we would learn this and we learn this, I would be much more successful in life. And this is sometimes also they sometimes get out the rumors. So
it harms the perception of the community.
It doesn't. I mean, sometimes they give out the things that we don't learn this, we don't learn that. But again, I don't think anything that I didn't learn kept me back from pursuing what I wanted.
Yeah, but sometimes when people leave something, then the thing becomes 100% bad. Yeah. It's like there's no good about this. The reason I left is because they're the ones with the problems. So it's not like, well, actually it just wasn't for me, or maybe there was one person I didn't like, or whatever it might be. But then it all of a sudden becomes like a blanket thing. So I think humans naturally just do that anyway, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Okay, cool. So for example, it definitely hasn't kind of held you back in your mindset for sure. And, my interaction with you, I know you're very, very sharp, for sure. But so when you how long does that, what was that school called?
In English, I would call it Talmudical College.
Okay.
But it's called in Jewish and Hebrew it's called yeshiva. Yeshiva is basically is translated.
Was it you? Because I remember we were going to Southend, we were talking about
it. So basically, yeshiva is in Hebrew means sitting and learning. Basically, we all sit and learn the Talmud, if it's a Talmud, if it's a Torah, the Bible, and this kind of things. And this is where we get our knowledge from. And it's not just black and white. It's like, there is like, let's say there's a chapter in the Talmud about interest, right? So in Jewish religion, you're not allowed to charge interest, you're not allowed to take interest or pay interest, but there is ways where you can, when you borrow from the bank, you need to pay interest, otherwise you can't buy a property. So there is a way how to get the interest and all this kind of things. So there's a whole chapter that we're talking about interest. So kind of, if you're saying we don't study finance, we have a whole chapter of interest, and this studies as finance.
Yeah.
All this kind of things.
How long would you be at that school for? Is it like 2 years, 3 years?
So actually in this yeshiva, I went actually to 3, starting off from 16 years old. Actually, it started already before. So first we were in school. Again, school is most of the learning is about Talmud and Jewish religions. Then I think 2.5 to 3 hours a day. Depends which school, but 2.5 to 3 hours a day. We do study secular. We have a non-Jewish teacher studies to teach us math, and then was Dutch, whatever, and all these other things. Because I do think you need, again, you don't need, but it's good to have. There are people that have less than that. There are people that have more than that. This is like till we 13 years old. From 13 years old, we kind of go to a full Talmud, full religious kind of yeshiva, but still for us 13 years old. But we don't study anymore any secular, any other things like the math. And again, math is in the Talmud and everything, but not just with Jewish teachers and everything. This is till the 16 about. Then from 16, you're already leaving home. Kind of people leaving to college, we leaving to yeshiva. Let's say I left still in Belgium, but like a half an hour away from home. We're coming home every week. So this is also like fully, we're already sleeping there, and everything fully just Talmud and religious things. Then I went to then when I started, I didn't know much English before. But then when I started I came to Gateshead Talmudical College. It's next to Newcastle, Gateshead.
Sorry about that. I said sorry about that.
But?
No, it's a joke. Gateshead, Newcastle.
Okay, Gateshead. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, correct. But it was a good. For the Jewish in the Jewish Talmudical College, is Gateshead one of the top in the world.
Yeah.
So this is where I've been 2 years, and they will actually teach myself English as well, because a lot of English people, Jewish boys that don't know Hebrew or whatever Yiddish, we talk, they only know English. This is where I got more or less my English from. And then we went to Israel for a year. So it's basically from the 13 years old that it was fully just, to be honest, my Dutch, I barely know any Dutch anymore.
Forgot the Dutch now. Dutch is not a second language.
I think far away from second.
Okay, cool. So when you've done all of that, you've done 1 year in Israel, and just the 1 year in Israel, is it like a compulsory thing for Jewish people?
Yeah, most of people can't go there. So there are people that are going from there to college to actually learn a degree, to get a degree, if it's finance, if it's lawyer, if it's law and anything. And there are people that are going from there to work, and there are people that are getting married from there. So it's all, but most of the people, I would say 85% or even 90% from the Orthodox boys are going to Israel for the final years.
Okay. Final year. Okay, brilliant. So we've done all of that now. We've done the education. Obviously, in your mind, you've always said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't really want to get into, working for someone else, all of that sort of stuff. So what happened?
So again, after Israel, I did get married. So in Jewish religion as well, there are a lot of sectors, but there are people that get married younger. There are people that first need a degree, first need to go to college before getting married. There are people who first need to make a bit of money before getting married. So our sect, I would say, we do try to get married as young, and from the 18, 19, 20. So I did get married at 19 years old, and there was no job. I mean, I never worked a job in my life before getting married. I got married here in London with a London girl in Stamford Hill in North London.
Of course.
And it was just like 3 weeks before the lockdown when I got married. It was like still the first cases were then confirmed. We were still laughing, making jokes about COVID. That's from China and stuff. We didn't know what's ahead of us.
Chinese. What was it? Chinese.
Yeah, I don't remember the jokes, but it was sad.
Chinese flu or whatever it was called. Yeah.
It was sad jokes.
Yeah.
So then I was still making jokes about it. And after 2-3 weeks, I was thinking again in our Orthodox community, so that we're getting married, and there are people that still after marriage they're going to still study Talmud for a year or two. Depends on the support. If they have support, and living support, or some people even they don't have support but just gonna struggle a bit, but they still want to study Talmud. Again, for myself, my mindset was I've done all the studies till my marriage. After marriage, I want to go to work. Again, I do put away an hour, 2 or 3 even every day to study Talmud. Mm-hmm. But this is something. It's not just for the knowledge. It's just this is something that God gave us to. We should do every day. This is a different topic, but basically, for my full day, I didn't want to go out to work. I didn't want to do something in the job. But again, COVID started. I came to London. Officially, London was much more potential than in Belgium than it was before. They were saying, but so I was sure I will get a good job, an office job straight away in the community. But instead of me getting a job, I heard people by COVID getting laid off of jobs. Businesses needed to close down. People got laid off of jobs. So I didn't have a chance to get a job because people got laid off of jobs. But it didn't stop me. I decided I need a job. I don't want to stay at home. Again, studying Talmud, I didn't want to do something else with my day, with my full day. So I did married. I was married. Responsibility. Yeah. Need to meet. Again, my wife was working, got some peanuts, but I would be able to survive. Yeah. But it wasn't just for the money. It was just if I'll start now. If I'll start now not going to work, I don't know how long it's going to drag. Maybe it's going to drag a year, and in a year I'll say, okay, let's get a job. But I didn't want to get a job. Let's get a job started, and let's continue from there. So it was like I did get an opportunity of a shop. Basically, it was a shop like selling cameras and most of cameras and this kind of technology things. A small shop in the Jewish community, owned by a Jewish person, that he had a worker till then. But he needed to close down because of the lockdown, so he needed to put the work into furlough. If you remember what furlough is,
of course.
He needed to put so the worker legally needed to get paid because the shop needed to be closed down. So the worker didn't want to work. I'm getting furlough now, but this boss needed to make some income from his shop, so he decided he's going to need to be open, illegally kind of open. By appointments, this kind of things. But his worker didn't want to come to work because he's getting from the government. So he was looking for a worker just for a few pounds for cash. So this is where I came in the picture, and I told him no problem. Wasn't much. Starting with $7.50 an hour.
Is that legal?
But it's not illegal. It's illegal, but it's cash. It's no tax. I think anyway, it's not paying taxes on $7.50. But it was a beginning of training, 3 months training. And this was my best. I didn't. There was no other offers because people were getting laid off of jobs. Yeah. This was an opportunity.
So was this within the Jewish community?
This was on the Jewish High Road where all the shops are.
And what sort of job was this?
So it was basically salesman in the shop, but basically it wasn't because it was on lockdown. So there was a what's it called? I don't know what's it called, a shutter? Shutter, going up and down. So with a key fob, going up and down. So I needed every time someone was knocking there, I needed to put on the shutter, letting in straight away down because it was
legally shops weren't allowed to open at that time.
Legally, it wasn't supposed to be around. It wasn't supposed to meet people in person. So this is where I started becoming started trading with people. It was first of all my first paying job, and I was starting to chatting to people, selling for people cameras, and I think there where I got to know myself that I'm good at customer service, because I would really put myself away for customers even after working hours. Sometimes someone needed something. I would give them my private number, message me in private later in the night, or I would message them at the night. Even I wouldn't get paid, because again, I wanted to serve this customer.
Yeah.
Should be ready for the next morning and these things. I think this is where my customer service came, started off new. I'm good to serve customers, and I would put myself away for customers. Not everyone is good at it.
Yep.
And it's not good to be good at it. It's not bad to be good at it. It just depends what you are.
It's a skill
that I've got to put myself away for customers. I think that's where it kind of kept on going. So I was there. Afterwards I went up to £10 an hour, but I was there for I think 4 or 5 months. Then it stuff started ready to open up and everything. So then I got my first office job in a waste removal company. So also dealing with clients, with landlords, and really mainly customer service. Again, operation manager as well. Then slowly I became operation manager. I was operating the whole operation in the office. But in the beginning, it was a lot of dealing with customers, and customers started to love me, to be happy of me, and even I got regards from my boss, like they were really happy with the new worker there. So, and this is actually what led off in my business, because as you know, like one of my first landlords was a customer from this business that I really became good with. He knew I'm someone that will put my effort into something. And then when I came with this new idea of an Airbnb, he just decided, he was the first one to just give me a tryout. So, and till now, again, now I have like 2 sets of customers. I have like the clientele, like the landlords, and then I have the guest. So I have like, it's really not a lot of businesses that you have 2 sets of customers that they need to make happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of different. I have 2 sets of customer service that I need to make happy. But again, I think I'm good at it, and I'm trying my best to make my customers happy. I think this is key.
But we skipped a little bit. Like so before that, how did you actually get started in property?
So in the waste removal company, I did deal with property management, property developers. So we remove waste for management agents, for construction sites, and all this kind of. So I started dealing with people, and I started also seeing first. Before that, I didn't even know what the management is. I didn't know that if someone has a property, he gives it over to management for the management to deal with. I thought someone has a property, he gets a tenant, he gets rent. But then I got to know, hey, this manager, did they own the property? Don't they own the property? No, I got to know that just the management, there's a landlord, gives them the property, and they make a percentage of the management. So this is where I started actually seeing in the property line. So I started, I wouldn't say get knowledge, but I got an idea of how the property works with, and I got to work with people, I got to know people in the property line, where I later on could have taken on my going properly in the property line.
Okay, brilliant. Because when we first got introduced, if I'm not mistaken, you quit work.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. You quit work. You said, okay, cool. I'm gonna give myself a timeline, 12 months, to actually make this work. Which is, is that correct?
It's correct, but I would add something that I did open my company in Companies House. This is the easiest process of opening a company. Was in November 2022. So this was like 5 months before we met, 4 or 5 months before we met. The issue with that was because it's, again, probably we're going to get to it soon, all about the mindset. So my mindset was still, I'm an employer in this waste removal company. By the side, I'm trying to open a company, I'm trying to get something. Because, all this 4 or 5 months, nothing moved. So it's at that time when I quit my job, and I decided, my mindset was, okay, I'm now not an employer, I'm now my own boss, I have a company, and I'm doing Airbnb. I didn't have any units, nothing, I didn't have any even people. There are sometimes people that quit the job, they have already someone, or it's a relative or someone that tells them they're gonna give them some stuff to do, but I didn't have anyone. I just quit. I decided, again, let me go. I don't have anything to lose.
Apart from everything,
that's correct. If it doesn't go well, I'm starting life again. I was still young enough to start life again. Yeah. But
what gave you the confidence? Because obviously you're just kind of saying that as if it's a normal thing to do. It's not a normal thing to do. I found myself in a very, very similar situation, but I was actually, over 30. I had a partner, I had a baby on the way. So there's this kind of this is a risk that you're actually taking here, right? So I understand it, but for yourself, how are you making this decision? Because it is a risk. A lot of people don't want to make that risk. And if I'm honest, I wouldn't advise someone to take that risk. If someone wanted to take it, by the time we'd met, you'd actually already made that jump. So it was more of like, okay, cool, well, let's help you make sure this actually works then, right? Because the truth is, it is a risk, right? It is a risk. And, if you haven't got the right guidance, you haven't got the right mentorship, you're not taking the right steps, then things could actually go wrong, right?
Right.
So what gave you the confidence to know that you were going to be able to do this?
So again, I would actually not advise for people to do it as long as you have some savings put away for a few months to get off, because there's two things. First of all, if it doesn't work out well, then you need to know where to live, and you need to, until you get back in the routine, you need to have some savings put away. And even if it goes well, but till it goes well, it takes some time. And if you just gonna, let's say it goes straight away well, the business starts earning money, but if you're gonna need this few pounds that comes into the business for life, it's not, your business is not going to grow usually, because there won't be any funds, and you're just going to, so you do need to have a few months put away to be able not to touch any business, because if it goes well, you should keep this money in the business to be able to grow the business. If it doesn't go well, usually it doesn't go well in the first few months at least, then you shouldn't quit, because you should have money put away to live for a few months and focus on your business and see how it goes. And again, and what made me the push, to be honest, is my partner. So in the beginning, for myself, I wouldn't mind sleeping on the floor, and just because my dream was always to have to be a business owner. So I would do what it takes. I would sleep on the floor and not to even have a house in order to pursue my dream to be a business owner. But again, I had a partner and a baby as well by the time, so I couldn't do it for them unless my partner said it was already in the beginning. She wasn't supportive. She was supportive of me opening a business, but not to quit my job first on the side to open a business. And so thought I. This is the usual way of doing it. But it came to a stage, me and my job, it was like a kind of a tense situation that even my partner said, you shouldn't work there anymore. Just quit and start yourself. Okay. And this is what I quit and I started myself. It's
massive to have that support from your partner in that decision, isn't it? 100%. Really, really massive. So what you'd done up to that point is you'd done the traditional strategy, what a lot of people would tell you to do when you want to get started in service accommodation, which is, rent to rent.
Yeah.
You actually, you'd been to another, mentorship company to get mentored in that strategy. So when you kind of came over to me, and obviously you hadn't seen any results from that. So when you came over to me and I said, listen, let's put the rent to rent stuff to one side. Like, if you really want us to go quickly and start making money, let's change the strategy and let's go over to management. And you were like super resistant against that to start with, right? Can you just talk us through what was your mindset and why were you like against it at the time?
So first of all, because I did put some work in for the last 4 or 5 months, whilst I was still at work. I put a lot of work, extra hours into the rent to rent, and this was where my mindset was. This is the business, and then you come and tell me as management, and you see also so much noise about rent to rent, and this is where people are making the money, what they say. So I just couldn't take it. That is like, you're going to switch now terms and say, no, you make money from this one, you're not making money from this. When you say, okay, go into technology, okay, fine, a different thing, but it's actually the same thing, but just everyone is saying rent to rent. You coming, some African guys coming to tell me, no, do management. Like, why should I do that? But again, I didn't have anything to lose. And this is why, and I listened to you, and we gave it a try. Yeah. And then after I think 1 or 2 months, I got my first property. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key thing for yourself there was, because I remember I said, okay, cool. Here's what we're gonna do. Listen to this. You've paid for the mentorship, right? You're in, so listen to what I'm saying to you, and just go and try and see what happens. And you actually went back to people who you'd spoken to before about rent to rent, and they weren't interested. And then when you told them, well, this is actually what I'm doing, and all of a sudden they were actually interested in working with you, right? So you bring me back to times, yeah, that's correct. Because this first landlord that as I mentioned before, the first landlord I've been dealing in my first job before that. So I knew him before. And I did come, when I started on the side, I wanted to do rent to rent, I went there and I told them about what I want. I want to guarantee you the rent. So he first asked me like, "What, are you gonna guarantee me rent? Like, where do you have the funds to guarantee me rent?" I said, "No, I'll get it from Airbnb. Like, and what if it doesn't go?" I said, "Yeah, then I'll be stuck." But then he said, like, first of all, I have guaranteed rent with councils. Councils are guaranteeing me rent. I mean, they're guaranteed. They have the funds to pay it. You won't have the funds to pay it, so just he didn't want to accept it. So actually, when I went back to him saying, "You know what, I have a different idea." Again, working with the council is very good, but there's some negative things about working with the council. I mean, the tenants that are coming in there, a lot of time they're breaking the flats and everything. But first of all, you're not going to be needed to deal with the council, and you're going to be able to make more money because I will manage it for you on Airbnb. So this is a way he got it. Again, there's money to be made of, and this is where he gave me the first try at the property. It went well. I mean, better than I expected him, and I made him expect him to think so. And then from now we have a couple of properties from the same landlord.
Absolutely, and that's the thing I always say, right? Which is, you're just one landlord away. You're just one landlord away. So you find someone, you do right by them, you actually deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. And then obviously for them, it's a no-brainer now to actually open up the doors for more properties because you've already delivered on what you said you were going to do. But again, I think your actual first deal, which is still in the works. Yeah, we always joke about that. That ship is still coming from China, right? But it was actually, and again, if this was the rent-to-rent strategy, the conversation wouldn't even happen with this developer. But you were actually able to just want to talk us through that deal.
So this was a developer that he had. Again, there's no secret that now it's starting to get better, but the whole property and development and interest rate was a year ago really deep in, and basically he was a developer that did build some buildings, and he couldn't sell it because interest rate was very high. People wouldn't buy any properties, and it was high-end properties, so it was expensive properties, so people wouldn't buy it. Renting it out, it wouldn't make much money. So this is where we came in. Someone introduced me to him. And I came in saying it was actually on the high street in a very good location, the location. And it's really a lot of money to be made off on the short-term rental, on the service accommodation rental there. So this is why I bought him the figures and was very happy about it. Things got in the way, meaning it's still on the list for me. And he tells me every time, once I can do it, but there's still different legal issues with this building that you need to be able to sign off.
Yep.
But no one else has taken it. It's still empty. And let's hope any day. Maybe
that's 9 units.
9 units, yeah.
Right, from one developer who was in a situation where any other strategy just wouldn't have made sense for him, right? Because he couldn't actually just rent those properties because the interest was having to pay on the mortgage. If he rented the properties out, then he would have actually had to cover those costs anyway, right? He couldn't sell the property because he was trying to, again, because of the rise in interest costs. People weren't really happy to pay, for the properties what he would have wanted for it. So the only option was really to do the management where he had flexibility. If he still wanted to sell, put the properties on the market, he could still do that over a longer period of time. But he was making a huge amount of money. He was saving on, there was some tax breaks, which we're not really going to get into. But what you were able to offer him as a package, as a developer, as someone who's an investor, who's well versed in property, he really understood, well, actually, this is a viable proposition that I can take that makes sense for me, whereas nothing else would really make sense for him in that situation, would it?
Yeah, and I did get different properties for him. I did get his personal house that he was shifting houses that also he couldn't sell.
Yeah.
So he gave me, and it's actually doing really well. And then he did recommend me to someone else. We have got the one in Tower Bridge also that he recommended to one of his friends.
Yeah.
We got so.
And there was a few in
Romford. It's also still there's like something going on there. Like he still needs to sign up. He has a lot of it on his mind, but everything is officially ready for me to take on.
Yeah. So again, there's just all of this, and that's from another separate landlord, just one other person. So he's got 9 units. He's already giving you another one, and he's referred you to another 3. So it's just things just compound really when you're offering a service where both people are winning. So it's not just one person is winning. Both of them are actually winning. What was So having actually started your own business, how many properties have you got at the moment now?
At the moment, we have got listed 12 units.
Yep.
And another few in the pipeline to go very soon. Hopefully within the next 2 months to reach. Again, it depends if you're getting one or not. But if you're getting one, that hopefully to reach soon, like 18 or 20.
Yeah, and that's not counting this 9 that we're talking about. That's pretty much there, just waiting for some legal stuff to finish. So we'll probably talk. You could be on 30 properties by the end of the year.
Hopefully.
How crazy is that? Yeah, that's insane, isn't it? But just talk to someone who's just starting out now. For example, what are the things that people should be looking out for when starting a service accommodation business?
Service accommodation. Yeah. So first of all, the main thing is it's not just. Because there's a lot of noise out there that saying just a money making business. Just you need to do this and this and you're making money. It's not that. It's not like that. First of all, you need to have good customer support for the landlord, because it's very hard. Sometimes you have guests. You want to, let's say the guests have had an issue at the property, so they do want to have some sort of compensation or something. So you do need to have customer service for them. So they had an issue, you give them a refund, but don't forget, it's not your money you're giving a refund from, it's the landlord's money you're giving a refund from. But you need to have the same customer support for the landlord as well. So you need to sometimes think, who do I prioritize, how do I prioritize, who and which customer am I prioritizing to give the good support. But this is number one, to have good support, and the landlord should like you, the guest should like you. And then it's also being really, to be honest, because I think the landlords I've got now, they know there's someone. Again, this first landlord is just every time he wants to buy a property, he's asking me, should I buy this property? Shouldn't I buy the property? Is it going to be good for sales accommodation? Because he's trusting me, because I did put him off every day with this property. I said, no, this I wouldn't suggest you to buy this, or I wouldn't suggest you to invest in this one. He's already had to make it as an Airbnb, because I'm not confident in the numbers. So don't just. In the beginning, I was thinking, hey, I want to get properties. It was really hard to say no, because I didn't have money in the beginning. I thought this property, it might make me money, but it wouldn't be the best option for the landlord, because the landlord wouldn't make that much money out of it. But so for now, okay, I can have a good excuse for the landlord every day, saying, hey, that this went well because of that, didn't went well because of that. But in the long term, it's gonna work out that it wasn't good, and the landlord's just he's not gonna trust you anymore. So I did say no in the beginning a lot of properties that really triggered me. I want to get this property, but again, I'm not confident in it. So I did say no a lot. This is why it took me quite a while to get myself, because it's actually in the first 6 months, I just had one property. It's from the 6 months that I just every month got another one. If I'm just dividing now 12 months, 12 properties, 1 property a month. But it wasn't. The first 6 months was just 1 property. It's in the last 6 months, just now in May, I had 3 properties coming on. So it's basically first build up the trust. It's not get rich scheme. It's building up the trust that the landlord should trust you, that when he gives you a property, the analyze you're doing is for his best interest, because you do sometimes say no for property, so he's trusting you when he's saying yes, you mean it.
I'm so glad you said that. That is such a key point, that people need to realize that you need to have delayed gratification if you want to be successful in property, especially service accommodation. You're building trust, you're building the foundation to a business that you want to be making you 100, 150, 200k a year, and that doesn't come overnight. Like, you have to build the solid foundation so that it doesn't crumble. Like you said, you can also build in a way that it crumbles. You can just lie to people, give them inflated numbers, you're going to make all of this money, they bring the properties over to you, you don't make all of this money, your properties crumble. Now your business is gone. Or you can say, okay, no, I'm just going to keep telling them the truth, giving them the right information. They're going to keep saying that one doesn't work. I'm going to lose this deal. I'm going to lose that deal. I'm going to lose that deal. I'm going to lose that deal. But every single time I'm losing a deal, I'm building so much trust with this person that when I say yes, they're going to go all in. And they're going to let everyone else around them know that this is the right person. Because when I do then deliver for them on that deal, then it's a no-brainer that they're going to want to work with me even more. And then over time, because before you realize it, all of these deals, it looks like the deals are just coming out of nowhere, but they're not. It's all of that foundation that you've built that's making it happen, right?
And then you're getting a recommendation, because to be honest, I'm not a sales guy. I'm good in customer service to serve the customer, but I'm not good at sales. I can't push a person to a sale and everything. I'm really hard at this, because I'm sometimes too honest To be honest, I'm sometimes too honest, like saying, hey, I'm not sure it's the right thing for you. Something you don't need to have to be 100% honest. You should, because a lot of things, nothing is perfect, and you won't be 100% confident with anything in life. You won't be 100% confident. So you do need to have the 90% competency and the 10% risk, right? So if you're going to sell a car for someone, it might not be the right car for him. There's a 10% chance it's not the right thing for him, but that's why you need to have some sales skill and pushing him for this 8% that might be good for him. So the same, but I'm not good at it. So I don't do really more sales, but most of my landlords now, I got recommendations. So this first landlord recommended me to a few. The other landlord from South London recommended me to his friends because I did deliver results. So most of the landlords I got was from recommendations because the other landlords trusted me.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. This is really a referral business, which is why, I'm heavy on the networking side of things. You would know, obviously, when I'm mentoring, I'm talking about, networking, going out, building relationships. Because this business, really, you can go out and spend money on ads, and I know, a lot of people in the industry are still trying to crack these ads, targeting landlords, or you can just build real solid foundation based on relationships with people. And referral businesses are the strongest type of businesses anyway. Yeah. If I say to you now, hi, Moshi, go and speak, to this person. This person is good. That's a great accountant for you. Go and speak to them. I mean, apart from the fact that you're in the academy, we've known each other for so long now, you're just going to say, okay, cool, that's fine. I'll give him a call, speak to them. Right? That's just because of our relationship.
Yeah.
But if someone random say that to you, you say, okay, cool, that's fine. I'll have a look around. I'll do a few. And then, after a while, I'll make a decision, right? That's the difference between building relationships. It's almost like, what if this person is saying there, I'm going to take the benefit of that. It doesn't mean there still isn't a risk there, but it means I'm willing to take the risk because this person has said to work with you.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Okay, cool. So in terms of the actual service delivery, you've mentioned something that's really important that you've mentioned about, customer service. It's not really something that a lot of people talk about. Again, when coaches are talking about service accommodation, they're talking about, all of the glitz and the glamour, all the money you're going to make. And, people even call it passive income, which is
it's not
insane. What do you think if you say, okay, for my business to be as streamlined as possible and for me to make as much money as possible, if there's the one thing that you really need to focus on, what would you say that is? Apart from customer service, I know the importance of that, but in terms of the day-to-day management of the business, what would you say?
So also, because I wasn't so much in the corporate world, it's kind of, it's not so easy for me to manage actually my business, to be honest, but I'm trying to do it, and that's why I have a mentor as well. But it's also really hard for me. I always did everything myself. It's really hard for me actually to give up over trust to someone else. So we were talking about already taking someone to work for like a virtual assistant, and I think this is key, but I still didn't got to it because I'm thinking, hey, someone will manage my business, my money coming in. I still didn't put it up. I think this is because doing everything yourself, you just can't do it, and you won't do it good. So
especially for you, because you have to take Saturdays off, right?
Yeah, that's number one, Saturdays off.
Yeah.
And number two, I do have sometimes I need to drive to a property, and whilst I'm driving, I have guests messaging me or guests issues. Who's dealing now with the guest? So sometimes I need to leave the guest waiting hour or something till I respond. It's not that bad, but it should have been better because usually when I wasn't driving, I would respond to the guest within a minute. Mm-hmm. So that's why it is key to get someone in for the works. If it's a work someone else can do for you, you should get someone in to do for you. Again, it's hard for me, I need to have this push, and just hard for me to just give over responsibility to someone else because I never did that. I always had my own responsibilities, but this is key, you need to do it. In the beginning, you should do everything yourself, I believe. Yeah. And I did the first property I was building up was my own handyman. Even I don't have good hands. It took me 2 weeks to build up a property, like to build up some IKEA cupboards and stuff. Because I think in the beginning you should make your hands yourself dirty. Once you did it, you went through this process, and also like this in the future, people can't take you for a ride or something like. Yeah. You can't take you a ride because they can't tell you this and this and this you need to do done because I did it already in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So don't tell me you need to do this. I had sometimes small maintenance things. I went to do it myself. I went to fix it myself because otherwise someone else will tell me if I'm bringing a maintenance guy, yeah, we charging £95 because there was a whole. No, I did it myself already once. So don't tell me what you did, because I know what you did.
Yeah.
So I think it's beginning. You should do yourself, but then outsource this to people, because you need to value your time.
Yeah.
And you can do more with your time, more valuable things.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think, for you to give direction is something that you need to actually have deep experience in. You need to have so much experience that you're able to explain it to someone in a very, very simple manner so that they can understand it. But yeah, something I love people tend to get wrong is they want to start systemizing, straight away. And we all have that propensity because, the reason why a lot of people become entrepreneurs in the first place is because, they want that freedom. They want that autonomy. They want to be able to do what they want when they want. So naturally you lean towards, how can I make this as simple as possible and as easy as possible? And that's right, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you just dedicate time on the front end to actually learn and master all of those things, or as much of them as possible, then you're able to bring people in. And actually, you're going to bring better people in, first of all, because you're going to know exactly what skills and traits you're looking for. But also, you're going to be able to help them get off to a great start because you can give them the right foundations because you know exactly step by step what needs to do. So the onboarding process is going to be a lot better, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that makes so much sense. But in terms of it is very, very normal that not wanting to relinquish. It's almost power in a way.
That's why I didn't yet put myself into it, but I need to. I mean, it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, it's not even so much just about power. It's just almost like you don't feel like anyone can do it as well as you can.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And the truth is, they're just probably not going to be able to. But it is what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? As long as they can do it up to a certain standard, that's good enough, that's fine. But what you will also find, and this one will shock you, in other areas, they're 10 times better than you.
Yeah, correct.
They just will be, right? And you start thinking, oh, crap, why didn't I bring this person in earlier? Because they're just better than me at doing this thing. And, over time, as you keep learning and growing and figuring out these little things, then, once you get the first person in, now, I know we've literally had this conversation a good couple of times, right? So I know what you're talking about. But once you get the first person in and they start to, take that pressure off you, you're going to realize, okay, cool. What else do I need someone else? What else do I need someone else to actually come and plug those gaps? What do you think? I mean, to be fair, you're doing a lot of the right things. You are doing a lot of the right things. You keep, the one thing that you keep doing, which we kind of spoke about in the early days, is to never let the pipeline dry out. As much as you want to focus on, okay, I've just got these properties in, I've got to focus on setting them up. Never stop doing the things, that actually got you those pipeline properties in the first place, which you're really good at. But what do you think you need to do apart from a team? What do you feel like, if you're giving someone advice now, what do you think you need to do to sort of take your business to the next level?
There's one thing you should do in the beginning for sure, and this I did got to go a bit wrong, but again, I still got the time to fix it. Is with your accounts, because this can really mess up a business. Again, in the service accommodation, there's not so much payments and stuff, but if we're not going to service accommodation, any business you're opening up, if it's you're supplying something or anything or servicing you're doing, a lot of payments coming in and coming out. If you don't have the accounts set up in the front end, like right at the beginning, it's going to be really messy. And then, because even now it kind of got a little bit messy, but it's not so messy because I just have one payment coming in, and then I don't have so many suppliers and everything. But I do see myself, if my same business would have been in a different kind of industry where there's a lot of payments coming in and out, I would have been in a mess. And then it would cost a lot of money. Again, everything is fixable. I didn't do any illegal stuff, but it would cost a lot of money and effort to fix it up. But for now, we are good to do. I'm working now as an accountant to fix everything up, to get it sorted. I think this is really, because people don't think, because sometimes a business will accelerate so fast before they even know it. So in the beginning they think, okay, let's say people, even if they think they want their business to grow, but they think it's still the first few months it's still going to be nothing. But after the first few months pass and stuff are starting to getting whatever industry is, money's coming in and out from your account. Before you know it, a lot of money coming in and out on the account, and it's starting to be a mess. And then you need to fix everything, because you might not know how much money you made, how much money you spent, but HMRC does know. So and they're not going to tell you. You're going to need to tell them. So really getting someone that accounts sorted in the beginning is really key, because, and even if you don't have funds for it, it doesn't cost in the beginning. It doesn't, if you don't have much money going in and out, it doesn't cost a lot of money to have an accountant and have the accountant's accounting software. For this bit of money to have everything set up in the beginning like this. When it accelerates, everything is in place.
Okay, brilliant. So what would you say then? Because you obviously value mentorship, because before you joined My Academy, you'd actually already paid for another academy, right? And then you joined My Academy as well. Why do you think mentorship is important? And what do you think has been, the best part of actually joining My Academy?
So I would say there's like three ways people dreaming to become entrepreneur. Not everyone. There's people that just want to go to the club every day and just live their life like that. But to the people that do have a dream to become entrepreneur, do have a dream to become their own boss. To be honest, there's three ways of implementing it. There's all going a really risky way. Just straight, if you go to college, don't go to college, but straight away before getting a job, before going into the corporate world, you're just going out there, risking it. You might succeed, you might not succeed, but let's say taking the path, you will succeed, but there will come a lot of baggage with it, with a success. So basically, first of all, a few years of really struggle, making mistakes, losing 10,000, 100,000, or even millions of pounds. And just after 5 to 10 years, you will get success, because you're going to learn from your mistakes, and from mistakes you learn the best. This is the best teaching
lessons
tool is making mistakes and losing money. Then you learn your lesson. But in the end, you will succeed and you will make your money. And in 10 years, you're going to be like a 7-figure entrepreneur. Then there's the highest way. Again, not much risk. What you're going to do? You're going to go into corporate world. Start as a janitor, then go up as a secretary, then as a administrator, till you're gonna, after 10 years, you're gonna be the CEO of the company, and then maybe, or you're gonna be very comfortable, or let's say you're gonna want to pursue your dreams after 15 years in the company, working with corporates, doing all the levels, you're gonna open yourself a business. So mistakes are still gonna happen, but on a really low scale, because you have a good experience, you know what you're doing and everything. After 15 years, you're gonna come to a 7-figure entrepreneur. But then there's a middle way what's the difference between these two? In the end, this guy became a 7-figure entrepreneur after 15, 20 years, because he has been in the corporate for 20 years. The other guy might have had 5 really hard years, but he became a 7-figure entrepreneur like 15 years before you. Came with a lot of risk. But then he has nightmares. Even now he has a 7-figure entrepreneur. He still dreams at night from the times that he didn't have a roof over his head, when he lost his relationship because he didn't have money, and everything. But then there's a middle type that, again, you don't want to wait the 20 years. You don't want to work for a boss for 20 years and maybe in 20 years go into a business. But you don't want to take all the risk and not knowing what you're doing and losing hundreds and thousands of pounds to be able to get, and maybe you won't get anywhere. So getting a mentor, someone that did it before, someone that has the knowledge, has been in the corporate world or in this business or in any business before, getting a mentor. So number one, he's teaching you what you should do, how you should do it. And mistakes will happen, because every business is personal. So even myself, I did have mistakes where I lost money, but again, on a small scale. And when mistakes do happen, you know who to turn to. Because if you're going to turn when you're just risking it, you're going to turn to your friends. Your friend's going to, I told you shouldn't do it. I told you you shouldn't start your business. I told you you should get your job. So they wouldn't help you out. And with a mentor that has been through the same way, you will be able to talk to someone. He will be able to get you up and get you back running. So in the end, you will get to where you want faster than when you would get to the corporate world, and with minimal risk and minimal nightmares and everything what happened, because you did mostly things right.
Yeah. Listen, I couldn't agree. Whether it was, when I was just broke, whether it was books, and when I was kind of dragging myself out of the homelessness situation, whether it was just books, or whether it is, when I decided to leave the corporate world, and it's like, okay, cool, now I've got to go pay for me. I've just always understood the power of mentorship, because ultimately, if you're doing something that you haven't done before, and there's people who've done it, not everyone has the resources to, but, everyone can pick up a book, or, go and watch a podcast, or, go on the YouTube channel these days. But you need to get guidance, because otherwise it can be really, really difficult to actually just go through that. If you don't know what's in front of you, you could be doing something, you could be working very, very hard, But if you don't know what the right steps are to take, then ultimately you might just be walking blindly and you might fall into some potholes. And as I said, listen, you might get out, walk again, fall into another one, get out, walk again, fall into another one. And then eventually, you start to see the pattern of the potholes and start realizing, okay, cool, I need to walk around them. Or you could just actually, pay a tour guide, and the tour guide is like, okay, cool, now there's a pothole there, there's another pothole there, there's another pothole there. And then you can try to avoid them as best as you can from the start anyway.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Honestly, bro, like what you've been able to achieve. I remember the first conversation we had. I literally remember I was in one of my properties in
Stratford, I think. Was it?
No, it wasn't Stratford. It was Surrey Keys.
Was it? Okay.
It was Surrey Keys. I remember. It was Surrey Keys. Stratford was on the coaching call.
Could be. I remember we were in property. Or wasn't it in Brentwood? Or could be. I don't remember.
No. It was Surrey Keys. It was Surrey Keys.
Could be.
And we was chatting, and I was just like laughing. I was just going like, this guy, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you were like, why should I have the manager? No, but the agent's not going to say this and they're going to say that. I was just like, in my head, I was just laughing like, yeah, this guy. But it was cool. It was cool. But to, understanding your goals at that point, the things that you wanted to achieve, the reasons why you wanted to achieve it, the fact that you'd taken such a big risk, like just massive, right? Now looking on and thinking about what you said you wanted to achieve then versus what you want to achieve now. Now, I know you've got big goals, but in terms of like the first 12 months, it's really been incredible what you have actually managed to accomplish. But with all that being said, so coming to the final question now, with everything that you have actually achieved now, you are now entrepreneur, you're a business owner. Yes, you're just getting started. Yes, you're going to build on top of this, but you've accomplished that thing that you said, I want to run my own business. A lot of businesses don't actually survive the first 12 months, right? You've done that. And you actually, your trajectory is going like this, not like plateauing or going downwards, right? So after all of those things that you've actually accomplished, like what remains your need to succeed?
Again, for sure, there's further mentorship to be needed because again, what I just did is just like 1% of what can be done, and a lot of things can still go wrong. Again, like I said in the beginning, I don't consider myself yet a successful person because I just started off, and things can go so wrong. And you saw a lot of businesses that it started going good, but a wrong move and everything went back down. When you really big, a wrong move meets a little bit down. But hey, when you just like went your first step, a wrong move is back on the floor. So for sure, getting further mentorship and further having someone to turn to, how do you proceed? Let's say even now was how to hiring someone. I could be looking for someone, looking and not find the right person, or even find someone, but he's not the right person, and he will put my business back in the ground. So every process to get guidance from someone that did already this process. So this is basically the need to succeed. Always don't think because you succeeded in one level, then just repeat and do the second, third level. Because how I would say, like, if you have how the saying, if you have 1 billion pounds, if you become a millionaire, you're not just one step do the same and become a billionaire, because a billionaire is 999 million plus one, right? So it's not just one step. So you just need to, you did the first step, but the second step is not going to be the same. It's going to be double headaches, and everything is going to be double and triple. So every step you do need guidance, because I don't think because you did the first and you have had success, it's just going to follow, because there's a lot of risks still to be taken.
Moshi Katz, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.